Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I'm going to do the Shakespeare Journey Tag. I was tagged in a video by Pat at Book Chat with Pat 8668. I'm just going to repeat what Pat said to properly credit the creators of this tag. This original tag was created last year by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and Nicole at A Day of Small Things. In her announcement video for Shaketember 2024, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading invited people who had not done the tag to consider themselves invited to do the tag this year to kick off Shaketember. There are 12 prompts in this tag. I was tagged in this in Pat's video a little while back, but I had to wait till I read a Shakespeare play, and the play I read was Cymbeline, and I just got done with that. So up front, I'm going to say that Cymbeline is going to be a fair amount of answers to these prompts, because Cymbeline is the only Shakespeare play I read since high school, and that was back then was The Merchant of Venice. I think it likely that we read Romeo and Juliet, but I'm not positive, and without being certain, I can't say that I did. The first prompt is, what was your first experience reading Shakespeare and what was it like? As I said, we read The Merchant of Venice in high school. It was a long time ago. I remember that Shylock had some kind of legal deal where if the person he was making a deal with didn't meet the terms of the deal, he could take a pound of flesh. And I remember thinking that the way that Shakespeare made it so that Shylock couldn't get the pound of flesh seemed kind of iffy to me. It didn't seem like it could hold water. So long ago I can't remember why I thought that, but I do remember thinking that. And the pound of flesh, it should be said, it was a literal pound of human flesh. It wasn't like a pound of, say, I don't know, gourmet meat or something like that. So he was going to take a literal pound of flesh off somebody. It wasn't like I wanted that to happen. I just thought that the way that Shakespeare made it so he couldn't get the pound of flesh didn't really wash with me. And as I said, we may well have read Romeo and Juliet, but I can't be sure, so I can't claim credit for it. The second prompt is, has the reading of a Shakespeare play ever brought you to tears? What scene was it, and where were you when it happened? No, for one, as I said, I haven't really read many. Two, actually, as far as I can be certain of. And it's rare that books do bring me to tears. I was angry at some of the things the characters did in Cymbeline. I was also upset and angry when Posthumus distrusted Imogen for reasons that I didn't think were very valid. He shouldn't have, those reasons didn't seem to be enough for him to distrust her. So although I didn't shed tears, I was angry and I was upset at some of the actions in Cymbeline. The third prompt is, are there any people that have played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey? Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading played a huge role, because if not for seeing her video where she talked about Cymbeline, or maybe I might have seen in one of her other Shakespeare videos too, if that hadn't made me decide to do it. But if not for her, I would not have decided to read a Shakespeare book. It was not on my radar at all. There wasn't any thought of it. So she played really the only role, a very big role, because it wouldn't have happened otherwise. The fourth prompt is, do you have a favorite book or film about Shakespeare? I haven't read a book or watched a film about Shakespeare, so I kind of had to modify this prompt a little bit. I'm going to give my favorite book by Shakespeare, and I'm going to give my favorite film by Shakespeare. The first book is Cymbeline, because again, that's really the only one I read since high school. But I did like it. I didn't understand it all, but I did like it. As far as the film goes, I did a search online. Not surprisingly, there's a lot of movies based upon Shakespeare's plays. But the only one I found that I had seen was The Lion King. and I did really like it. So it is a good choice as an answer to my modified prompt here. I also did a search online to see what books are based upon Shakespeare's plays. Not surprisingly, there's a whole bunch of them, but unfortunately I haven't read any of them. The fifth prompt is what character in Shakespeare most resembles you and in what ways. For that, I'm going to pick Imogen and Cymbeline. I pick her because she went after what she wanted, and what she wanted was posthumous, so she went after him. She didn't let things get in her way. She disguised herself as a boy. And really, posthumous didn't always deserve her devotion, but I liked her the most. A fair amount of characters in the book I didn't particularly like. They did stuff that I didn't necessarily agree with. So Imogen is my choice. The sixth prompt is what play would you most like to see performed in a theater and why? Well, that's going to be Cymbeline. I'd like to see it because, again, it's the only Shakespeare play ever since high school, but I have a suspicion that it's not amongst the most staged plays of his. Could be wrong, but I have a suspicion that's true, so it might be kind of hard to see it. So it is something that I would be interested in seeing. The seventh prompt is what actor throughout history would you most like to have seen play Hamlet while in his prime? And my choice is Hugh Jackman. He has a wide range. He plays Wolverine. He does serious movies. He does romantic movies. He does stage musicals. He just has a wide range as an actor. And he's a tall, lanky guy. He has a commanding presence. So I think he'd be a good choice to play Hamlet. I didn't actually search, by the way, to see if Hugh Jackman has been in any Shakespeare plays. It wouldn't be surprising if he had, but I don't actually know that for a fact. I just think he'd be a good choice. The eighth prompt is deliver your favorite speech or soliloquy from a Shakespeare play. I don't have one. I was tempted to pick one from Cymbeline, but I think that would be a cop-out. This prompt, I believe, is really intended to be something that you might have read years ago and it just stuck with you. And to just pick kind of something that sounds good to me out of a book I just read, I think would violate the spirit of this prompt. So I don't actually have an answer for this one. The ninth prompt is do any of Shakespeare's plays intimidate you? And if so, what play and if yes, what play and why? I wouldn't say Cymbeline intimidated me. I had to accept early that there were parts of it I wouldn't understand and come to terms with that. And when reading the book, just decide I'm going to get from it what I'm going to get from it. And overall, I did understand it, and I got a lot, but there was some stuff I didn't understand. I don't know enough about any other plays by Shakespeare to know if they would have something that would intimidate me. It is possible, but I can't say because I don't have the knowledge. The 10th prompt is, what tips would you give to intimidated readers coming to Shakespeare for the first time? I would suggest they do what I did for Cymbeline. I would suggest they just read it, not get too caught up in the parts they don't understand, try not to reread stuff too much. I did reread stuff a little more than I normally like to in Cymbeline, but I tried not to do it too much. I would just say read it and get what you can out of it. And I think that any Shakespeare play you read, I think if you do that, you get something out of it. There always has to be a first, so read it. And if you want to go back, read it again or whatever, that's fine. But the first time, just read it, try not to get too caught up in the stuff you don't understand, and get what you can from it. The 11th prompt is, which is your favorite Shakespeare play and why? Again, it's Cymbeline. I know I've answered this a lot. As I said before I did the prompts, I was going to have to. I did really like it. I can't really say, compared to The Merchant of Venice when I read it in the 70s, that's too long ago. As I said above, the only thing I remember is Shylock and the Pound of Flesh. don't really remember anything else from it, so it's Cymbeline. But it's not, as I said, it's not really a consolation prize, but I did enjoy it, accepting that I didn't understand all of it. The 12th prompt is tag other booktubers. So I'm going to tag John at Disquiet and Dragons -LH3ZM, Suey at Suey's Book Banter, Nix at Nix Reads, Smitty at A Book Smitten, Kayla V at Reading with Kayla V, Jesslyn at Triumphal Reads, Melena at Melena Milano 8833, Fred at Read by Fred, Rennie and Raina at Beyond Books -WT5IT, and Nigel at Reading Ideas -UZ9XK. And I would just say too, anybody who's watching this video, consider yourself tagged. If you want to answer these prompts in a video, please do so, and tag me. If you want to answer one or all the prompts in my comments, please do that also. As you can see from mine, I read one book. So it's not like you've really had to read a lot of Shakespeare to answer these prompts. And if you can't answer any, like I couldn't answer one, so be it. But you don't have to be a Shakespearean scholar, because I'm certainly not, and I'm sure I'll never be that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week, and I hope you're having a wonderful week in general.